Welcome, everybody, to the Here Brotherhood podcast. Name pending. I think we should change it, by the way. We'll talk about that another time. Welcome, everybody. Today we have a friend of ours and of the community's,
We're
Kory.
definitely friends.
Kory Stevens. This is a podcast that is a long time in the making. We've been wanting to have you on since the beginning, but I'm glad we're finally making it happen. So you're going to do the proper introduction here in a minute, but I thought it would be funny because I just started listing all the things that I know about Kory Stevens. Not all the things, but or the things that we've interacted over the last couple of years. I wrote down, so Instagram. A lot of times I love your Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
Sunday night recaps.
Yep.
I think they're amazing.
Thanks.
Okay, but then there's cooking. And I always want to eat the food. Whatever you're making, I feel like it's a restaurant.
Mean cooking at the house.
Like a 5-star Michelin restaurant. Breakfast burritos.
Yes.
I know you love breakfast burritos.
Trust me. It's happening someday.
I know you love flowers.
Yes.
Big flower guy.
You too.
Yes. Yep.
Dude.
Big flower
Remind
guy.
me later in the podcast. I have something that I'll show you.
Okay.
Remind me. Don't let me forget.
Okay. Taft, Connect and Conquer, when you came to speak at that event. Tuff Pops. Let's see. You won an award, a big fat award.
Yes.
You sold a company.
Yes.
You've done a lot of things. More than anything, you seem to be an amazing husband, father, and just love watching your journey. One more thing. I know you posted about it once that you studied linguistics in college.
Yes.
Which is shocking.
Really important to me, actually. I freaking love it.
Based off of where you ended up, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then something about management consulting, but then you started a sock company that turned into Taft, a shoe company. And now you work for a roofing company, and you're doing another thing with your wife, Tuff Pops. So,
which is protein popsicles.
Protein ice cream.
And they're delicious. That's what I was going to say.
So
they are so good. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was actually shocking the first time I had it because it was just, with protein stuff, sometimes you're like,
Trust me, dude. You're right. And then you try it, you're like, oh, this is actually just like a delicious ice cream.
So good.
bar.
Yeah. And I'm getting some protein in this. So,
yeah.
Without further ado, give us a little bit of an intro of the things that I missed and the things you want to focus on.
Dude, you did a great job. So my name's Kory Stevens. I'm from Burbank, California, which is just north of Los Angeles a bit. Just, Dodger Stadium right there, Staples Center,
So cool.
And then I moved up here to go to BYU. So I graduated high school 2007 and moved up here. Went on a mission to Cambodia and Southeast Asia. And then,
wow.
Yeah, I met
So
my
what
wife.
You speak Hmong? How do you say it?
I know Khmer. Hmong is different. That's like the indigenous
the
people of Laos. Of Laos.
Oh.
Wow.
Like the mountainous indigenous peoples of Laos.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I speak Cambodian,
Cool.
Khmer, and I met my wife in college. We met in India, which is super cool. So I was studying linguistics, she was studying English, but we were both doing some research in India, and we met. We got married very, very quickly, as a big surprise to our families. And we have 5 children. We live in Provo, and we work together. Taft was together, Tuff Pops is together. She's the founder of Tuff Pops, but I'm her partner, and I really like being at home. I love being with my kids. I love cooking. I love hosting. I love exercising. So yeah, we have a wonderful life. I'm very, very lucky, and I'm really grateful to be here. I was, you texted last night at like bedtime, and I was like, you know what, I would love to make this work. Let's make it happen. So here we are, 12 hours later, and I'm
So good.
pumped to be here. Yeah.
Amazing. I know you're a busy guy. One thing that John didn't mention, which I'm actually surprised that you omitted this, is
gosh, what is it? Let's hear it.
it's Kory's just openness and vulnerability on the social platforms, talking about like mental health stuff, right? You've been a huge voice in that space, and that those have probably been your most viral moments, right? Is like sharing those kinds of experiences.
I do think so. I think that I do try to. I don't know how to help the world. Like Taft was really small. Tuff Pops is tiny. I don't have a platform to go change the world, but I do have a little bit of of an opportunity to just talk about my struggles, and I think it's helpful when you have someone talking so openly about vulnerable things that can also couple it with some professional experience. I think it's a powerful combination. And so I do try to use any bit of platform I have to just uplift others, and it's also helpful for me too. It's a nice accountability thing. It's also helped me make wonderful friends like you guys, and it came from that stuff. So
why did you start opening up online? Because that's where, was it just LinkedIn? Was it Instagram?
It was Instagram. Yeah. So Taft, our shoe company, we went from like 0 to 500,000 followers like really fast. And eventually it got to the point where it was like, World Suicide Prevention Day or Mental Health Day, whatever. These days would come up that personally, internally, I was like celebrating as a holiday.
Sure.
And then I had this huge audience, and I was like, well, I have 500,000 people that really like shoes, and it would be a shame if I didn't do more than shoes. Like, for us, it was always people before shoes. That was what we kind of said internally.
Cool.
And so it was like, we have this huge audience. What a shame to not do more than just sell shoes to them. And so eventually I started making these little videos about, just mental health stuff. And people reached out way more about that stuff than they did shoes. And they started connecting with me as a human and not just the product, And so Taft turned into like a real platform for mental health. We sent emails, we did huge campaigns around mental health stuff. So we were a shoe company, but we were really trying to spread goodness and positivity and encouragement and support to those. And I spent countless hours in DMs, like responding to people one by one, really heartfelt, people reaching out. It still happens on LinkedIn now, but it started because of Taft, and it really started because I had so much pain inside and I wanted to talk about it. And then I found this whole world of people that also wanted to talk back. And so that's how it started.
Wow.
Well, it feels, speaking from personal experience, it feels really scary to put yourself out there. On Instagram, yes. LinkedIn, though, specifically, there's some added
I agree.
dangers.
I do agree.
Spooks, right?
Yeah.
So what, it almost is kind of the popular thing now, right? Like
I
mental
agree.
health and just, I hate to say trendy because
No,
it's like,
I
it's not
agree.
going out, in my opinion. Like just like physical health, we have to focus on mental health as well and spiritual health.
Yeah.
And so what was it on LinkedIn specifically that because you were kind of doing it before it was cool?
I like to think so. And
Yeah.
I've actually pulled back myself because
Yeah.
I just feel like, man, everything on LinkedIn is mental health now. And I'm like,
Right.
I'll pull back a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
one day I went on LinkedIn and I realized that I had like almost 10,000 followers. And I never checked. I didn't even know how to see follower count.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I've never even given this any effort, just here and there or whatever, like literally maybe a dozen posts over the years of Taft.
Yeah.
But I had a little following, and I was like, I hopped on there one day and I was like, I just realized I have 800,000 followers on Instagram, and I have 10,000 on LinkedIn, and way more has happened because of the 10,000 on LinkedIn.
Wow.
And so I was like, there's something here. And yeah, I speak very openly on LinkedIn as well, which is a little bit, I mean, for me, it's not scary. I know what you're saying, but I
but
think
maybe at the beginning, or was it just always kind of innate?
I think that I'm somewhat insulated by the risk or to the risk because of having some professional success.
Okay.
If I'm, people reach out to me every day. They're like, hey, I don't feel comfortable talking about this publicly, but this. I don't have that risk. No one's going to fire me. Who can fire me?
Right.
Like, I'm not at risk of losing my health insurance or my job or, I won't get that promotion. It's like, I've kind of overcome some of those professional risks.
Yeah.
Or I've coupled my mental health struggles with enough professionalism and a track record of being great that I can be open about all the heavy things while still being recognized by others as like, oh yeah, Kory's legit.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like I need to raise my hand and kind of be the voice for those that are messaging me but won't post about it. Because dude, every time I reach out or every time I send the message out about mental health, a tidal wave of responses come back. And I have the unique privilege of being able to speak about it without much blowback, whereas others are at risk of like, I might lose custody of my kids if the state knows that I'm suicidal or, all those types of things.
Right.
I don't have to struggle with that. And so I feel the need to speak up for those that that don't feel comfortable speaking up.
Can you tell us,
So cool.
We've mentioned just mental health. What's your relationship with that? What's been your journey with that? Like, why are you stepping forward as that voice?
Yeah.
Like, give us a little bit of the backstory.
So when I was like 14 or 15, like a switch went off in my life where all of a sudden, I remember, you know, I had a bed in the corner, and my bed looked out on a street that was like, you know, a 35-mile-per-hour street. It wasn't like a tiny residential street, but it wasn't a huge freeway. But I remember I would time, just as I'm like going to sleep, I would time when I needed to jump out in front of a car to like end my life. And I didn't think much of it, but as then I started really struggling with depression, but I didn't have the vocabulary to talk about it. I didn't know what was going on. I just like had all this pain. And so then I eventually moved out much earlier than a teenager should. And, you know, now after, you know, I've more than half my life, I've struggled with depression, and I'm high functioning in that I'm not just stuck in bed all the time, but I have been hospitalized. Yeah. I have, struggled with like pretty serious self-harm that has left my body. You know, I'm really strong, but I do have like a lot of scars on my body that are, you know, kind of embarrassing at times, and my kids are probably wondering what the heck is going on, you know? I mean, we talk very healthily about this kind of stuff, but I've struggled with this. I'm 37 now. So we're talking about, you know, more than 20 years of real, I mean, it affects me every day, every hour. I am, in some ways, my mind is like addicted to suicide. Like and that's kind of how I'm approaching it right now, is like my body is addicted to suicide, and it's like this constant temptation for me. And I work through it, and I have a great marriage, and I'm a great dad, and I am a great friend. But I think everyone in my life kind of realizes and knows that suicide is a real major risk for me. And I've built my life to support me in that battle. But yeah, it's a current fight. I'm not like speaking up for people, because I think a lot of times we like, if you have started and sold a shoe company, then you're like speaking about starting and selling a shoe company. Or if you like had cancer and you beat cancer, you're speaking about how to beat cancer. I am not saying I beat depression. Let me help you. I'm saying I've struggled for a really long time. I've learned a lot of things, and unfortunately I still struggle with it. So let me like hold your hand in the trenches, not like I have it all figured out. Let me teach you how. I'm not like guruing my way through this. I am like struggling now, active problem for me, but I just decide to talk about it instead of just like bottle it up.
Yeah. And when you say like, is it the ideation? Like I'm just, when you, that struck me when you were like, I feel this like addiction. Yeah. I'm like, what does that actually mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think about suicide all day, every day. Like it is, I am in so much like internal pain and turmoil and discomfort that suicide seems to be like the only solution for me. And obviously it comes and goes, right? Like when I'm like at the gym, I'm not necessarily thinking about it all the time. When I'm like coaching my son's sports teams, I'm not like thinking about it. But it's like when hard things happen, it's like my mind has been trained to, that's how you solve it. That's how you solve it. And, you know, I have like, and I think in the current economy and the way our world is right now, I also have like a really big life insurance policy. And so that when I get scared about providing as a father and a husband, and you know, that's kind of in like, oh, I could get my family a bunch of money, and you know, it's like it's very complex, and it's you know, I'm obviously being very transparent and honest, because it doesn't make logical sense necessarily,
but rational, yeah, totally.
But like along with all of that, I'm like, again, high achiever,
high functioning,
and I'm very fit and all these things, but that is something I really struggle with. And like my depression and like grief and despair and hopelessness are like really at the forefront of what I'm battling every day.
Wow.
So I know you talk a lot about this feeling that you that you have constantly. And a lot of people listening might think, might have an idea of like, oh, here's what you should do. Everybody has a solution for you, right?
Of course.
So, but as I've followed you, as I've followed your journey, I know you've tried, or in your words, you feel like you've tried just about everything, right?
Yeah.
And so what meaning are you giving to this? Like, what have you discovered about yourself in this process of, in your words, this addiction to suicide or to those thoughts or to that? What, if you're feeling hopeless in that way, what's the meaning, that you're putting around it?
That's a great, because I do think like, because my wife over the years, we've been married for 15 years, and my wife, I think it started out like, I'm going to help Kory beat this.
Yeah.
You know, and I think now, because I'll say things like, I'm never going to be through this. Like, this is my life. And I think she's starting to kind of like agree in some ways. Like, oh yeah, maybe.
Like, no.
Yeah, like I'm gonna fix you. And I think she's realizing too that like, oh man, mental health is really tricky and really hard, and every case is so unique. Like, I might sound like a crazy person to someone that also struggles with something similar, you know, but theirs is their flavor is a little bit different. As for the meaning, I mean, I do think that extraordinary people usually go through really extraordinarily hard things.
Yeah.
Like, the most amazing people in the world are usually not just like
Coasting.
Super vanilla, medium, coasting average, right? Like, and so I like to think that like there's something that I can contribute to the world someday, whether that's now or whether it's in some leadership position, or maybe it's as small as with my children. Any of those is a great medium or path to me helping someone. So I do try to think optimistically, like, okay, yes, this is really hard and really uncomfortable, but is there something I can learn? And that's why I speak up about it, because it's like, well, I've been blessed with great writing skills and great pain. Maybe I should talk about it. You know, some of the people I look up to most struggled with the same thing, and they kept going. And so I'm like, while I don't think there necessarily has to be like a meaning to it, I do constantly search for it.
Sure.
And I think that, I believe that there's a purpose. I believe in a loving God. Not everyone believes in God, but I believe in a Father in heaven that really loves me. And I trust him. And I know that if this is what I struggle with, like, there's a good reason. Whether I ever know it or not, I believe in that.
I love that. That gets to the question I had in mind, which is, I think often our biggest struggles, challenges also feed into like our life's purpose. And you see that time and time again in the world, right? Like, I always refer to like Michael J. Fox, Parkinson's disease. He's like the biggest advocate and like fundraiser and right? It's like, well, it's because that was his struggle. And I'm like looking at you in a similar lens and going, okay, there's like a mission that is forged from the struggle. And then there's also these gifts that come from it, right? These unexpected gifts. And you already spoke to one. It was like, you're able to articulate well and write and express what's going on with you that so many people it can resonate with. And how many lives have been impacted by your willingness to speak up and from a place of credibility. I think that was a really good point you mentioned earlier. Like, you kind of are in I
think it's important. It makes it
position.
A little bit more powerful, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just an example. It's like, hey, if somebody's struggling with this like chronic depression, well, there are like, it doesn't mean that you have to be stuck, right? Like that is really powerful alone. But any other gifts or blessings that you've seen from the struggle, from the wrestle with this?
I think one thing we haven't really touched on is grief.
Yeah.
I think we all obviously experienced that eventually. But a few years ago, I lost one of my children. And even yesterday, someone that you guys probably know reached out to me about he lost his child on Monday.
Oh, shoot.
And I have not responded to him yet because he just messaged kind of yesterday evening, and I want to give it a lot of thought, but it's like no one will ever know what we talk about, really.
Right.
But that's a private moment of empathy.
Yeah.
And solace and help, like just, there's countless things like that will never be public and won't necessarily register as like a gift, but the ability and the privilege and the honor of being there for someone in a difficult time.
Yeah.
Like I have always, I have really good like people skills. Like I think that when I walk in a room, people are like curious and I think that I think people are drawn to me, and I can be a leader and I can be a friend, and I make friends very easily. And I think that mental health, depression, anxiety, grief, whatever it is, has helped me know how to connect with people very deeply, very quickly.
Yeah.
Like even you guys, like I've spent maybe like 2 hours total with you.
Right.
But we can see each other.
Yeah.
We hug. We can have a conversation like this. I think that in such little time, when you're vulnerable and open and transparent the way that I am, the depth of a relationship, despite the short time spent together, is really powerful. And that's blessed me, religiously, socially, professionally, like the ability to connect deeply. Like it's so disarming and powerful when you are vulnerable and real and human, but then couple it with being great, like I also know people that make me feel really uncomfortable when they're open about things like this. And I'm like, I don't really want to talk to you about that. I'm happy to, but don't let that be the first thing out of your mouth, dude. Like, like I think that I've been blessed with this struggle and then the ability to communicate it loudly and very personally and intimately.
Yeah.
Well.
So I want to touch on the grief part, because it's a little raw for me right now. I lost my brother-in-law just a couple weeks ago, who's 39.
Oh man, I might know who your brother-in-law is.
Jake Woodruff?
Oh no.
Okay.
Dang it, another. Dang it.
Yeah. Well, so it was a heart attack at age 39.
Dang it.
And it's one of those things that this is kind of my first experience with. I've lost grandparents.
Yeah, like the expected ones.
But they were
hurt.
They lived a good life. They were old, right? Like
you can kind of talk yourself into some relief. Yeah.
Yes. Whereas where it feels premature or feels like you're being robbed, maybe a little bit.
Me, yeah.
This is something a new experience for me, and I've had some really powerful experiences with God and supporting my wife, who is feeling it way more than me, right? Her big brother and my in-laws, and the way that they're dealing with it. And the funeral was beautiful, right? It was a beautiful tribute to his life, and I think there was a lot of healing there. But a lot of the questions in my mind right now are like, how long does this go, right? Like, I'm watching my wife, who is a rock star, and also she's having a really hard time, and sometimes she just can't sleep because she's just so sad to lose her brother, right? And so I guess I don't know what I'm asking, but a lot of those questions that come in my head are like, how long does this last? How do you move on, not move on from this, because you don't want to move on from them, but this is just my first experience in grief with somebody this close. So what have you done? What advice would you give to those that I'm going to say specifically actually with children, right? My mother-in-law and my father-in-law, they're having a really hard time. They're missionaries. They understand God's plan. They are so close to God, and that doesn't make it sting any less, right?
Like, in the scriptures where it's like, death, where's thy sting? I'm like, I know where this thing is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so sorry.
Thanks.
I know
it's a loaded question.
No, it's a great question. Like on the way here this morning, like I drive by very close to the cemetery where my son is buried, and every day I want to go like unbury him, dig him up, and and I'm like, many, like 4 years removed, and I still am like dying for that body. I don't know because it's just so hard, and it makes life feel so long when it's like the backwardness of like, no, a parent shouldn't bury the child. Like, he was supposed to bury me someday.
Right.
And like the fact that his body's just in the ground. Obviously, I know the spiritual stuff, but the human in me is like, oh man, that body that I love is right up the hill. Like, oh man, I want him so bad. This guy that reached out to me, I read his message and I was like, there's been a few people that have reached out over the years that are like, hey, I just lost my son or I lost my daughter. What do I do? Yeah. And those are the most, obviously very tender.
Sure.
And I haven't stopped thinking about this guy. I don't even know. I've never met him in person, but we have interacted a little bit on LinkedIn. And when I saw his message, my heart just dropped because I'm like, oh man, I'm 4 years into that same battle and I still feel like this. I'm like, oh man, the next 4 years are going to be really tough for you. Dude, I don't remember your question, man.
Well, it's because it was a 5-minute question.
No. I'm just so sorry for your in-laws and for your sister and for you. And, if there's any children involved, it's just, it's so painful and it makes life so hard and so tender and it makes you appreciate things. And it also makes life feel so unfair. I just rely on my faith.
Yeah.
I think with faith specifically, when these types of things happen, it can be, you can callous and you can harden and you can push yourself away, or it can be refining and you can get like, I remember someone was like, hey, you need to really make sure you stay close with your wife because when there's child loss, a lot of times there's divorce.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa, like for me, I'm like, I'm closer to God. I'm closer to my wife. I'm closer to my kid, but I understand why the anger and, and the frustration. And so I'm sorry for your loss. And I have zero answers. I'm grappling with this myself.
No, one thing I'll comment really quick when you talked about, it's hard not to say, how do you move on from that, right? And that's,
it didn't feel right that. Even.
No, I say move forward because I'm picking all this up, I'm putting it on my back, and I'm going to keep trudging forward. I'm not moving on from anything. I'm bringing everything with me.
Yeah.
But I do need to keep progressing.
Yeah. Totally. That's it. That's my wife lost her sister several years ago to suicide, and it was a similar. She came to this conclusion of like, you don't move on from grief, you move forward with grief.
Yeah.
And you just learn how to.
And I think you move forward at varying velocities.
Yeah. Times where
sometimes I'm crawling, I'm trudging, I'm on all fours, barely getting through it, and sometimes I'm walking.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe in the beginning, right now, you're in the weight of that backpack's heavy and you're barely moving. But with time, the pace can quicken, but you still have that backpack.
Yeah.
And if you stop for a second, the backpack feels really heavy and you need to stop sometimes. And you need to, like for me, there's certain songs and certain movies that I purposely watch or listen to, I want to hurt for
allow
a second.
Yourself to
feel, for me, right? It's like
Same.
Manchester by the Sea, Hamnet. Like Hamnet.
Oh man.
Hamnet, I went by myself on my birthday. I was like,
we talked about, that's right.
I was like, dude. I need to, like, I knew what it was about. And I was like, I need to hurt and I need to feel every pound of that backpack right now. And sometimes I want to like push away, sometimes I want to like play sports and I want to garden and I want to barbecue. I want to host. I want to get the noise levels up, but sometimes I need to feel it. And, the song, like to the nature of daylight.
Max Richter is.
Yeah. If that insane. Song, like I put my phone on shuffle, on songs, library, shuffle. And that song will occasionally come up. And when it does, I'm like, okay, God, bring it on. Ready for it. I have like 1,700 songs and this one pops up. I'm in, like I'm here for it. So I think we all wear that backpack. And I think as life goes, like I have so much respect for old people because you don't get to be really old without losing siblings, parents, kids, jobs, money. Like I have so much respect for old people. And the backpacks that we all wear are of varying weights.
Yeah.
But we just lock hands and just try to keep moving the line forward,
Yeah. One of the things I think about, and it is with grief, with my experiences
No, don't
with
minimize
grief,
it.
No, but
I think you're going to say small. Don't
well,
minimize it.
mine doesn't feel the same as yours, but
Well.
anyway, it's almost the grief of what could have been, or when you right, like when you have and maybe I'll cut this, I'll just say it anyway, but part of the reason we even started Here Brotherhood was this brother-in-law. Not like
Wait, the brother-in-law you just
the
lost
brother-in-law that just
is the reason why you started this?
Well,
Like,
one of the reasons.
Wow.
That was one of the trigger points to starting this, was him and a few others were struggling really badly in a few ways. And again, maybe we'll just cut this. Who cares? And that was one of the reasons why, because I thought there's so many people around me, myself included, in waves, right, that are just struggling, that are having a hard time. And so over the years, I wanted him so badly to be able to come to a retreat or to come and be a part of it. And for various reasons, because he's my brother-in-law too, right? But just, and so it's one of those things of, what could have been. Like, I thought a big part of this was I wanted to help him someday with some of the things that he was going through, that we all have things. And with his, I was like, I really wanted to help him in those ways.
I have a 5-month-old baby that looks just like her brother.
Really?
And it, people were always like, oh, it'll be so healing to have another one. Like, don't stop, like, have another one. And we wanted to have another one anyways, but we had another one. And I understand why people say it's so healing, but people only seem to focus on the healing part. And I'm like, well, the other half of that is being slapped in the face with what you missed out on, right? Like, every experience with her, I'm like, oh, I could have done the same thing with my son. And she looks just like him. And when she's sleeping, she looks just like him. And it is like, sometimes I have to put her down because I'm like, I can't, obviously it's complicated, but she just looks just like him. And the what could have been is hard, but at the same time, it's also a reminder of how lucky you are to experience it at all.
Yeah,
totally.
With your with the depression, with these recurring thoughts, and you've learned to be high functioning and to cope and to deal with all this stuff in a way that has not held you back, seemingly.
I mean, it
in
has.
many ways.
I know it has, but it's still a high level. But I definitely am starting to realize that, oh man, it has really affected my career.
For sure. I mean, and so I'm curious, what have been the things that have been most helpful for you to just manage to, the day to day? Like, what are the most helpful things?
Yeah, right now. So I used to, like, I have this one graphic that I made on a slide that is everything I've tried. And it's a list of every medication, every activity, every anything. And it's a long list. And it's, I also have like a section of it that's like the varying illegal things that are on, on the list too. And I don't know, a few years ago I switched to like the basics of being a human. Sleep, exercise, diet, social connection. And so I kind of was like, all right, because honestly, a lot of the stuff I was trying was making it better, where like the volatility was too uncomfortable for my wife to be a part of. And so I was like, all right, well, let's just try to get the baseline of being a male up. And so I started weightlifting, and I started getting really into cooking. And I started, spending more time at home, less time on my phone, just kind of like, and sleeping more. I did sleep studies. I try to like lock in on my sleep. Because I think like it's so easy to look at like even, anytime I talk about mental health, it's like I get a barrage of like, well, you should try this. You should try this. You should try, like
Right.
these anecdotes of like, well, my cousin's brother tried this and it worked great.
Yeah.
You know, have you heard of this? Or you get the people that are like, it's just fear. It's not mental health. It's just fear. You need to confront the fear. I'm like, okay, thank you. Like all the, I categorize all these
well-intentioned
things. Yeah,
people,
it's like,
but
of course. Everyone's so lovely. But I feel like it's like, hey, after 20 plus years, I have thought about a lot of these things,
Right.
Yeah.
But right now it's like exercise, diet, and sleep.
Mm.
Is it a cure-all? Absolutely not. I'm just trying to reduce the volatility and try to get my average a little bit up.
Yeah.
And now I think my average is a little bit up, and now I can start thinking about some of the more treatment-y type things. So, I mean, exercise, I put on like 30 pounds of muscle over the last 2.5 years.
Amazing.
Like I physically am much different.
Mm.
None of my church clothes fit anymore, and I haven't really bought new ones, so I kind of look like an idiot at church. But yeah, I'm working on getting my baseline up.
Cool.
And then from there, I feel like I have a firm, steady foundation to introduce some more treatment options.
That's awesome. That's reminding me. There's I think this might have come from, is it Huberman? Shoot, I don't remember. Just kind of the 5 core needs that we all have. And it is movement or exercise, nutrition, sleep, social connection, and sunlight, sun exposure.
Yeah. My wife is like, put these glasses on and go in the sun. Like, yeah. And then like at a certain time of day, put these glasses back on. Like I get up at 5:15ish and I have these like special glasses that I wear that have like this light in them that boom, and it's like the same frequency of the sun or whatever. And so even though it's dark outside,
right,
I can still get that like sunlight, start your day,
interesting,
turn your body on, cortisol down, all these things.
Are those red glasses?
No. They're like in the profile picture. Yeah, those ones.
Okay.
Those ones. They look like future robot glasses or something. They're really weird. But I put those on at 5:30.
Wow.
And because sunlight is another factor that I didn't really mention.
Nice. Okay, that's awesome. And I love that after all of the exploration, you just came back to let's work on the fundamentals.
I know.
Like
I just
important.
think it's so easy to like look for this silver bullet.
Yeah, totally.
And there's so many silver bullets out there.
Right.
And a lot of them can lobby the government. A lot of them can have huge backing of huge medical companies. Like there's all these silver bullets. And we expect the silver bullet to overpower lack of sleep, lack of connection,
right,
eating a bunch of crap. Sometimes I mention Taco Bell. Taco Bell is not crap, but I know what people are saying. If you're only eating Taco Bell, right? But like we think that these things, or we're like, why do I feel depressed?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, let me guess.
Sleep deprivation.
You're staying on your phone till 1 a.m. watching some show.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you're waking up earlier than you want to. You're on your phone all the time. When was the last time you exercised or played sports? Like,
Right.
But we think we should just feel good. It's like, well, if you put crappy engine oil in like a Ferrari, it's not going to run like a Ferrari.
Right.
And so we need to I've kind of turned my focus back to like, all right, I am a human. I understand DNA and biology and like anatomy. What does a body need? And it needs those things. And so my focus is on the basics of just existing right now.
Cool.
And it has been for the last few years.
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome.
So good. One of the things on my journey of this mental health journey and trying different modalities and breath work and all of the cold plunges, which I think you came to one at one point, right?
The Provo River one,
That's
man.
right.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Right.
Just not that's like a serious modality. You get the point. Just we've tried so many different things, and I got to this point somewhat similarly of, okay, I just need to go back to basics. I need to focus on what matters most, and even a step further of like, with what you said earlier of focusing on God. And I realized a lot of the things that I have been seeking out or trying to do in the wrong context, maybe sometimes for like healing or whatever, it all comes back to God for me. Like the place where I feel the best, the place where I feel the most powerful is going to Him. And not that none of those things can do that. I've had like holotropic breath work, which Mike facilitates. Like I've had some of my most spiritual experiences there with God. But it's been an interesting journey of coming back to who I am, which is a
Yeah.
child of God. And going there it has been amazing to see, okay, the true lasting peace, the reason that we have to stay, the reason that we have to live is that. And that means a lot of times we don't have the answers.
Right.
We don't see the whole plan laid out, but I love that you touched on that. I love that you touched on your experience with God. And recently I think you were in a video featured by the Church of
About
Church
mental
of
health.
Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, right?
Yeah, about mental health,
Mm.
really.
So, anyway, I'm just talking in a circle here, but that's just been my experience, and I would love to hear. I kind of want to double tap on that a little bit because, speaking specifically of Jesus, he was called a man of sorrows, right?
Mm-hmm.
By Isaiah, there were a few, and he wept. He was a man that emoted, a God that emoted. He had all of the feelings, and sometimes I find solace in that. I find solace in knowing that he wasn't this happy, cheerful person all the time.
Yeah.
He felt all of the emotions. So what has been your experience there as far as how that's helped you?
The first thing that comes to mind is whenever I talk about mental health publicly, I always get so many messages of sweet Christians around the country that are like, brother, you need Christ.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at my LinkedIn profile. I went to BYU and I served a mission for my church. Like, trust me, I'm all in on that too.
Yeah.
It's always funny. So I obviously my efforts in this regard have been in tandem with my physical efforts have been in tandem with my religious and spiritual efforts.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite church leaders was Jeffrey R. Holland.
Oof.
And how he talks about Jesus is, I think we believe in the same flavor of Jesus. I believe in a very kind, gentle, understanding, supportive Jesus. I do not fear him. I'm not scared of him. I'm not worried about meeting him. Like, the Jesus that I have a relationship with is a man of sorrows and understands how I feel. I mean, literally, right? Like, I believe in, Jesus Christ died for me in these types of moments. And, it's such a good question. I mean, I think a lot of people that struggle with the same things I do, it leads to them not believing in God. It's the same with marriage and child loss. It's like, hard things and faith can either be refining and strengthening or turn you off and you turn the other direction and you're like, there's no God, there's no Jesus. I've taken the path of Jesus. I'm going to have to hop on your back at times and we're going to be hand in hand at times. And you're going to be pushing me at times. Like all of this is coupled with a lot of faith and a lot of prayer and a lot of temple worship and a lot of, excitedly going to sacrament meetings, and I'm all in, and I believe in a gentle man of sorrows. And there's one painting of him in particular where his face, I feel like I understand that face he's making, and that's my favorite. That's the Jesus I imagine. So he understands how I feel, and Jeffrey R. Holland had a gift of articulating the Jesus that I am closest with. And so, yeah.
That's beautiful.
So good.
If we don't have to go here if you're not feeling it. You mentioned when you were like 14 or 15, like something switched.
Yeah.
Was I'm sure you've probably explored this, like what was going on at the time or that led up to it. But I'm just curious if you had any insight around, like, there's probably genetic components.
I mean, yes, like
generational.
Yes.
And then also what was going on in life. And like, if you've been able to explore some of that and find maybe some healing around those early events.
I think, as I've gotten so vocal, like my family's also like gotten a little bit more vocal, and I've been able to kind of, maybe my parents ask me questions or I ask them questions, and I've learned a lot about my kind of family history, my grandparents, my parents, history of a lot of this kind of stuff in my family.
Yeah.
You know, and my siblings who I'm more vocal about it, but they've kind of like, some of them have voiced some similar things that they just dealt with privately or whatever. But yeah, I think often there's triggers for things coming out, and it's like it was there and it just looked for an opportunity. And, you know, I honestly think like puberty was probably a lot of it. I think that, you know, there was a lot of, you know, financial struggles going on at the time in my life and in my family's life, and that is the main trigger for me now. And so it's nice to look back and like, oh yeah, I can kind of see why that happened, and I don't think I made great decisions, but, you know, I understand it. And sure, looking back has been informative. I wish it like changed the present more than it does, but you know, and I do think that like this is, you know, like getting back to religion a little bit. It's like take up thy cross and follow me. I'm like, oh man, okay, if this is my cross, like I'm kind of starting to feel like, yeah, this is my cross. Yeah. And I've also been gifted the skills and talents and resources and community to help me carry it. Yeah. So it's not like, hey, take up your cross and like see you later. It's like, take up your cross and like I've given you everything you need to carry it. So let's keep going.
If you'd be open to this, I'd be curious to do maybe just the last few minutes a little exercise, a little exploration. Would you be down to try something?
You drive this thing. You do whatever you want.
Because the way you've spoken about Jesus as the healer, and then looking at that impact of what happened earlier in life. This is something that sometimes we do.
We do it with each other, by the way.
Yeah.
All the time.
No, totally. I was kind of like, dude, I'm down, but
what is this?
What are we gonna do?
Okay, this is just a little. Let's call it a guided meditation. How's that sound,
dude? So I'll say one thing. Okay. Plug for Here Brotherhood here. Plug / like. As vulnerable and vocal as I am, I have a hard time with. I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful or critical. It's just like, no, for some reason, I can go talk about mental health in front of the world, man. But like something about like, for me, your retreats would be really uncomfortable. And I think that's probably what you want. Like, I think that gets us into a place where there's like healing and stuff. Yeah. But like my wife is really open to like holistic things, non-traditional things. I grew up in like you take ibuprofen, you go to the doctor, you know, so my wife and I are very different in that regard. And you know, I don't know, like I have, to be honest, I haven't done a lot of your kind of stuff.
Got it. Yeah.
And it like,
there's resistance,
definite resistance and skepticism as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I won't do it or anything. I just want to like. I think that there's lots of people like me.
Oh yeah.
That like, oh man, that connection looks nice, but like it seems a little weird.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm not scared to like, you know, I'm very vocal about mental health stuff, and I have tried everything in my opinion. But then there's these certain types of things that I'm like, they're so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That I think that there's probably a lot of people that feel like me. They're like, man, I need Here Brotherhood. I need those retreats. And even though I'm a perfect fit, I'm just like scared.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I just plug in it for anyone that feels like me.
Yeah.
That is drawn to this kind of stuff, but doesn't really know how to like wade into this world at all.
I felt the exact same resistance.
We know exactly.
No, like personally, not like, oh, I've seen others. No, like, I felt the same way before going to my first retreat. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I knew
even the word retreat for me, I'm like rolling my eyes. I'm like, I don't have time. I have kids. I have a wife. You know? And I just like,
which is most men.
I just know there's so many people that feel like me because I look at, I see the pictures from your events and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like a perfect fit for this kind of thing, right? But at the same time, every part of me is pushing back.
Yeah.
No.
Totally.
So you do your thing. I just wanted to share that I know there's probably so many people that feel like me, and just plug in what you guys do and requesting people to be more open too, because I see the results and the things you guys do, and I'm very intrigued, and I have also never been participated before.
Well, what's interesting, and then I'll let you do your thing. But without fail, every single retreat, the week leading up to it, Mike and I both are usually on the phone a lot because the resistance to it is, and I'm just like full body chills right now because it's insane. I mean, I'm questioning everything, and we've talked about this every couple of months of like, is this the right thing? Like, how does this align with our faith? How does this align with, it's not like we're doing anything weird, but just like, how does this align? There's just so many questions that come up. Or what if nobody has a powerful experience? What if just all of the what ifs. And in our personal lives, work lives, like fires just seem to come up that week. And it's amazing to see the shift in both of us once we get there. And when we get there, and after we leave, we're like, why did we doubt again? Because it's just like this little slice of heaven on earth for a few days, and it just feels like you're in heaven for a minute, and then you leave and you're like, wow, what?
After you've been through some heavy stuff, though.
Yes,
it's not just all.
Sorry, not heavenly all the time.
It's like you've ascended.
But just the level of connection. But anyway, but totally. It's something that I totally relate to, and I used to think breath work and all these things were so.
I'm like super into it. For me, it's more about like, are people super weird? Is it going to be awkward and uncomfortable for 2 days? You know, for me, it's more about that. Not like, you know,
I had the same thing. I was like, I don't know who's going to show up.
Like people that are drawn to that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yes.
Like if you know people that have been to like lots of ayahuasca stuff and all that kind of stuff. Not to compare the two, but but it's like similarly open-minded people probably are interested in this. And I'm like, man, if you locked me in a room with those kind of people, it'd be a long couple days. Because I'm just like, I just want to be home. I just want to be comfortable. You know, So, dude, you gotta rip. Right
totally
now.
good. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good for
sure?
another few minutes. But
all right. Well, this isn't going to be some big.
No. I'm happy. Like, I'm happy to do whatever.
It's a little exercise. So all I'm going to ask you to do is just close your eyes.
Okay.
Am I closing my eyes too?
Yeah. Let's do this together.
Right, we're doing this.
Am I going to be talking at all?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. You can a little bit in a minute. Right. Okay. So just take a deep breath. And I'm just going to invite you to go to that place where you were in that room that you described, where little Kory, just something started to shift, right? Hearing the cars go by and thinking about timing it. And just imagine that you're there in that room and you're just watching. You're just an observer, and you're seeing little you there. And just take in the senses, like, what are the colors in there? What does it smell like? What does it feel like under your feet? And just see him. And just give me a little nod if you can feel like you're there, if you feel like you can be in that space and you can see him. Okay. And the first thing I'll ask you is just, what's the feeling that you have towards him?
I just feel so much like empathy for him. He's so young, you know, and like to be thinking about that kind of thing at such a young age is like so devastating to me.
Yeah. So you feel a lot of empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to invite you to, as you're just seeing him, observing him, if there was something that you could convey to him, like a message or a feeling or a thought, what would you gift to him? What would you want to offer him? What would you want to tell him?
Gosh, it's complicated because it's like the struggle has given me so much in some ways.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten skills and relationships that I probably wouldn't have otherwise, but at the same time, it's like a lot of those skills could I have gotten without such pain, you know? It's like, pain is a wonderful teacher, but it's not always very productive or constructive. It's so negative at times, and I think that in particular is just really negative, not very productive. So I think, I mean, I want to just like rip him out of that room and just like save him, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. I just feel I want to just like comfort him and just tell him to not worry about that. Just don't teach your brain to go there all the time.
Yeah. Okay. So there's this kind of conflicting feeling of, man, he's going to like learn so much from this. And I wish he didn't have to go through all this.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Like it's so much a part of who I am as a 37-year-old that I don't even know what my life would look like without it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, oh man, I wish I could just rescue him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to invite you to look in his face and identify, what does he need? What did he need? What does he need?
I think just more love.
Yeah. He needed to feel more love.
Yeah.
So there was a lack. He felt a lack of love. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think my family was really busy at the time, and yeah.
Okay. So, because we're a little pressed on time, I'll just jump right to this. I want you to imagine in this scene in your mind that you're there, and invite in anyone else that needs to be there with you. And this could be Jesus. This could be family, friends, loved ones, whoever you want to call upon. And I want you to just visualize being able to give little you the love that you needed, in whatever form that looks like. And you don't have to verbalize this. I just want you to be there with him, with yourself, with God, with whoever, whatever represents just unconditional love. And just visualize that pouring in to him, to you. And just breathe that in for 2 or 3 breaths. And I'll just ask if that's something that you felt like you were able to access in this. I know this is a unique setting to be doing something like this, but did that feel, at least in any degree, accessible? Were you able to tap into that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And how's that feel?
I mean, for me, it's like, I invited my wife into that room, and it's like, whoa, it's powerful to see my wife with like this hurting little boy that, it's so powerful to see my wife in there with me.
That's beautiful. That's awesome. Okay, I might you just take another deep breath. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. That was like
super cool, man.
A very rapid fire version of an experience.
So I've done like, I think it's called EMDR. Is it, or like what's it called? Internal family system.
Yep, IFS.
Is it like when I've done that? It's kind of like that a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe informed a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, not
sure.
the same, but
for sure.
It reminded me of some therapy I've done a while ago.
Yeah, no, and I was sure that wasn't your first time going to past you.
That image, it's like me, the savior, and my wife, just like boom.
Yes.
It's like, oh man, if that could have actually happened at that time, I'd be pretty different, I think, because this is a powerful image. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly. That is a modality, I guess, a tool that it's not just about, if only that could have
right.
It's like,
as soon as I said like, at that time, if I could have done it, it's like, he's like, dude, you could do it now,
Exactly. Yes, totally. And that's, for me, that's when we bring in the healer like that, and we have these healing experiences, it's retroactive. And I think it even affects that generational kind of stuff that's going on. Right.
So powerful, man.
So that was a quick random light touch version of an experience. And I appreciate you being open to try that.
Totally,
Cool.
I don't perceive my skepticism with not being open. It's not like that. I'm
not at all.
Dude, I'm desperate.
Yeah.
It's just am I desperate enough to be that potentially uncomfortable with people I don't know? Right.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Totally.
Right?
Cool. Well,
so good.
I want to wrap up. Okay, so in my wallet, you don't know this, but in my wallet, I don't know how many years ago, but you sent me flowers.
Oh yeah.
And it came with a note. That note is in my wallet all the time.
Really?
And it's not like in the folds. It is the only thing that if you open my wallet, it would fall out. It's like it's the only thing right there.
It's amazing.
Nice.
It's not like in the pockets.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
Thank you for sending me those flowers.
Yeah. That was straight inspiration, by the way. That was God.
Well, I love your note. Do you remember what the note says?
Something to the effect of men don't usually, they say that men don't get their flowers until their funeral.
Yeah.
Their first flowers until their funeral. And so just changing the narrative of like, well, why not sooner?
Yeah.
Especially for somebody who loves flowers. I also love flowers. My grandpa.
Yes. And all of my peonies this morning look very sad. And I'm like, if this freeze killed all of my flowers, are going to be devastated.
The worst. I know. I have a picture I took yesterday of our tulips, like slightly popping out of the snow. I'm like,
they're looking sad. I know. I'm with you.
Well, thank you. There's probably a part 2 down the road because there's just so much to talk about. But thank you first for coming on the show, for sharing all that with us, but also thank you for who you are. Thank you for putting yourself out there and for using your pain, your struggle to provide opportunities for others to share theirs and to be seen and to be heard. And just for all of the work you're doing and for all of the discovering and curiosity that allows others to text you late at night and say, hey, this happened to me. And so thank you for being who you are. Where can people find you?
I do post every Sunday on Instagram.
Yeah.
Which is usually like a combination of food, weightlifting, and encouragement.
Nice.
So yeah, Instagram, Kory Stevens, Kory Stevens, Stevens, and then LinkedIn. Probably Instagram's private, so it's not like I have a big following or anything. It's just my friends and family.
Yeah.
But I do a good job on there, and then LinkedIn is where I write more publicly.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank
you guys. I'm a big fan of and also grateful to be in the community where you guys serve. So thank you for what you do. I've been the beneficiary of lots of what you do. I'm very grateful, and thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you.
Right on. Thanks.